Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us, and all that, and then some. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Let everybody know that the brothers are in the building. We have a great show today. Today we are discussing the things that made us. I put in the title, the monsters that made us. Situations or issues that have changed our life. So again, make sure you share. Thank you for always being a part. Thank you for always supporting the growth of the Brothers of Legacy. We are looking to do some things this year. Just stay patient, keep watching, stay connected. You can also check the website right now. It's www.brothersoflegacy.com, brothersoflegacy.com. All our social media that you can connect to and all that, and then some. So we just appreciate you guys for being here and always supporting. Listen, what is today? Today is Wednesday, right? Yeah, hump day, wealthy Wednesday, all that, and then some. And I appreciate you guys for sharing and caring. So make sure you tag, make sure you let everybody know the brothers here. If you're not a part of our community, text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And never miss a broadcast. And always know what's going on with the Brothers of Legacy. Always staying connected. And then some. I had a news story in my mind, but I went blank. So I'm not going to half tell you. So we should have some guests possibly coming through prayerfully. So definitely happy winning Wednesday, Deborah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part. Let's see. Blessings, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. Say it again. It is Wednesday. Yes. I got Miss Kathy keeping me in line with my days so I don't push them too fast or go back. All right. So again, I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off. I'll get started. I have Pastor hanging in the wings. And I should have some other brothers coming through. So we'll be right back right after this. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. But we have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole point is this, that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often, making this general possible, often vested in the legacy.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
What was that?
What? What was what?
It sounded like something crunching.
Oh. I'm opening a letter.
Oh, cause I was looking. I was like, it don't look like he eating anything. Like, I want some. What is that? All right, welcome, Pastor. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Happy Wednesday. All right.
Get my table out the shot.
Got it. What you said? What are you trying to do?
Trying to get my table, get my business out the shop.
Oh, you can't. Well, whatever it is that you're moving or trying to hide, we can't see it anyway. You can't see it. Oh, so we appreciate you guys again for rocking with us and hanging with us and being a part and sharing and caring and all that great stuff and then some. Right? What up, Urban Country? It's a bag of Lay's, right?
Yeah, it's the window of those letters, right?
Right. Just to kind of give you a hint.
Let you know it's a bill.
Right. Right.
I have Sean Rollins to thank for this bill.
Oh, what's that? Oh, stream. All right. Indeed. All right. So again, make sure you share. Thank you guys for being here. Urban Country Dude, I ain't seen you in a minute. Appreciate you. So today, again, we're discussing the things that have made us. Is that what I put? All right. The things that have made us. The title I put, the monsters that have made us. Situations or circumstances that kind of shifted our mindset and got us to at least begin to change some of our ways or some of the things that we used to do. Generally, they could be one poignant event that says, "Ooh, I can't do this anymore." It could be a system of events, things just back to back. You just like, this is just not the life, or I've made a string of bad decisions that I need to stop making, or I need to stop hanging out here, or I need to get away from this area, or whatever it may be that shifted, that made you change your mind as far as the directions that you were going. That's what we're talking about. Now, a lot of times, and I've talked to pastors about this. Sometimes, you hear people testimonies about what they were and who they are now. And I always think about my life, you looking like, yeah, my life wasn't that bad. You're like, I needed a shift. But, you start hearing testimonies like, yeah, mine's not really that exciting. I can't, because, there are some, and Pastor maybe can probably attest to his, but they would be like, without Christ, I'd be dead and gone. I'm like, I might be hurt. I won't say my life would have shortened a whole lot. It may not be as good. It wouldn't, I'm going to tell you, it wouldn't be as good. But, I wasn't on the doorsteps of death every day based on my actions. I improved things that I've done, and the, following the biblical standard helped me with my family and life and things of that nature. I will say that it has set my moral compass correctly, because even growing up, I had the moral compass, but when accepting Christ, it kind of perfected it in a sense. I'm not perfect, but I have a perfection mindset of knowing the right way, not just morally, but how to do these things. The actions you take that have reactions, how to raise my kids properly, what they should be getting into. I think you can see further along. I'll say that, being in Christ. So that's kind of like my testimony. But today I want to kind of focus on some of the bigger events.
I need to go back to what you just said.
Okay.
Because you said, even when I didn't have Christ, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
I just, my moral compass was kind of still in the right. When I think about Bible study last night,
Okay.
and I think about Exodus chapter 34, Moses is in the mountain. This is fresh because I just taught this last night. And God is telling Moses who he is, who God is. Mm-hmm. God is announcing himself, and he is revealing his character.
Right.
The Lord,
Right.
The Lord God, merciful, gracious, long-suffering.
Right.
Right. And the point was, for Moses to hear the character of God that he had already experienced from God,
Right.
because there's history. So God is basically saying, I am that God
Right.
who has covered you and kept you even when you didn't know I was keeping you.
Right.
And what I got out of that was Moses' response. And Moses' response was to immediately bow down and worship. So once Moses acknowledged or got the revelation of who God is and who he had been in his life, his first reaction was to immediately worship. The Bible says he made haste to worship God.
Right.
Right? So what I'm saying is I can't even, like, I'm not trying to say anything. I don't want to come against your statement. What I'm saying is, now that you know the Lord,
Right.
I can't even brag. There's nothing positive that I can say about my life before Christ except that I found Christ,
Right. I get you.
because his mercy led me to him as opposed to catching me in my sin and
Right.
judging me.
I got you.
Right? So it's like having a conversation with someone who says, yeah, I don't know God, but I'm good.
I got you.
Right? For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose a soul? Right? So I don't want to give any credit to my life before Christ except that
Right.
somebody introduced me to Christ.
Indeed.
Right? So when I talk about what made me, like you said, like your title was the monster that made me. I was like, oh man, that's
Right. Right. Right.
it's funny because I was just looking at history this morning.
Okay.
I was looking at some of the stuff that happened in Forsyth County back in like 1987.
Okay.
Oprah Winfrey, there's an Oprah Winfrey episode in 1987 where she's talking to people from Forsyth County, talking about we don't want blacks here.
Right. Right.
Right.
There was no black people in the town. I remember that. I remember that episode.
Yeah.
I seen it.
And whoever it was, they ran them out,
Right.
And I'm just like, that was 1987.
Right. Like that one like the 60s.
Yeah.
That was,
But even in the 60s up in Pennsylvania, a family moved into Delmore neighborhood,
Yep.
the city of Delmore, or that community,
Yep.
and they literally, like, what was a peaceful neighborhood became an insane mob scene
right.
that had to have the FBI and the sheriff's department and all these folks out here because we're so many white people that were angry that these black folks bought a house in their neighborhood.
Right.
Right. And that was in the 60s.
Right.
There's also video of there's a recording of Ronald Reagan calling Congolese people or African Americans or Africans monkeys, and they're not even used to wearing shoes,
Right.
and America will experience the fate of inviting that into America, into this country, if we allow them in. That's Ronald Reagan talking in the 80s. So what has shaped your race relations? Because we're not talking about the early 1900s. We're talking about the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Right.
That's how people talk.
Right.
And Ronald Reagan said, let's make America great again.
Right.
He was quoted. I mean, that was his quote. All right. So that means that a lot of those people from Forsyth County, a lot of those people from Pennsylvania in 1963, a lot of those people that Reagan was campaigning with
Right.
are still alive today.
Right. Right.
And it's the same people that are trying to drive out critical race theory teaching.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the monsters that made us,
Uh huh.
we're still being made. from a
got you.
racial standpoint,
Right.
right? A woman says, I don't have a problem with colored moving in next door. I imagine my daughter growing up and having a neighbor, the little boy of the family, as her friend, and she likes him,
Right.
and they grow up and get married. That I can't handle.
Right.
I have nothing. I have no problem with the people, but I do have a problem with interracial marriage.
Right.
She said, I would imagine that there are a lot of them that are even better than me. But that commingling, I don't think I could deal with that.
Right.
Now, this is in the 60s.
Hey, Mama Corey. Good morning.
Hey,
So
Mom.
just one component of the makeup,
Right.
the monstrous makeup. We must recognize that up in Forsyth, when I moved to Georgia 20 years ago, I was told stay out of North Forsyth County.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy a house, do not go up to North Forsyth County. They said don't be caught after dark in certain parts of Fulton County.
Right.
I moved to Georgia in 2004, and I was told don't go near this city and don't be caught after dark in this county.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's I moved here in 2004.
Right. I got you. That's
So monsters are still being made.
yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I didn't mean to turn this into
Indeed.
a racial conversation, but that you said the thing you want to talk about the things that made us. I'm looking at this stuff this morning. I'm like, man, this is ugly, and I'm
Yeah.
getting emotional,
Yeah.
and I'm getting angry.
Okay. Fine. Let's go there. Let's go there. So what do you do with that level of monsters, right? So we got one end where, we see or recognize, we fight, we sit in an angry place. We have another side that says we're past this. This doesn't really exist anymore. And the other side, and I'm not talking about those that don't look like us. I'm talking about those that look like us that says this does not exist anymore. Yeah, there's a few bad apples, but this doesn't exist anymore. What do we do about exposing or changing this way of it's a way of thinking. Let's keep it real. It's a way of thinking. People are sitting on a stereotype or a thought process of who we are as a whole. Because you got to remember, a lot of times, you get the you're okay, you're not like them. Let's keep it 100. It's not about, you represent who we are. No, you're different. It's like what are you watching? Who are you around? Or what are you seeing that you personally think that we are like this monster that you think that we are? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what in your mind makes you think that we're this monster? And I know we always shift back, like, look at the music. They see us twerk. Who cares? Their folks twerk. They got trailer parks.
They try.
So it's like, how can you take, the small percentage of those that may seem bad, just because you're in the hood don't make you bad. Don't make you a bad person. Don't make you a thief. Don't make, you just live in an area that does not get resources. Let's keep it real. Let's just call it what it is.
Product of an
you drive
environment.
from one town to the next, you can see when the road changes, oh, I'm not in Buckhead anymore. You can see these things. It's funny when you was talking in my mind, right? These are the places we should just be silently marching through. just a whole line of us just kind of walking down the street at night. You know, like just silent, just walking. We're not trespassing. We're just walking through these public streets. You know, like it's just, I don't know, like just to kind of show like solidarity, you know, because honestly in my mind I feel like it's not that folks are just choosing to hate somebody or dislike a particular race. It's that
Yeah, it's a
their
choice, though.
view has been limited and their history has been so skewed by.
I'm sorry, I was muted. They are
Oh.
choosing.
Yeah, it's a choice.
You think they are choosing?
They're choosing.
Consciously.
Yeah, they're choosing to hate me because of the color of my skin.
But why?
It's how they was
They've been
raised.
taught.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it's an inbred thing.
It's
that-
still a choice.
I don't know, but and see, this is where I feel like things can change if they can get, you know, information, or if they could see more of us. You know, I don't know. Like, I think there can be a light shedded on these situations.
Listen, if I don't like you,
Right.
the reasoning behind me disliking you is because you don't fit a mold that I have
Deemed as something.
created in my mind,
Indeed.
right? And it doesn't matter how that mold was developed, how it was shaped.
Right.
All that matters is that's my line of thought. That's my train of thought. And if you don't fit, I make a choice. I'm not forced to dislike you. I choose to dislike you. You know, people can say, I don't like you because my mother told me not to like you,
Right.
right? But free moral agency says I don't have to listen to my mother.
Right.
I just have to make a decision of whether or not I want to deal with the consequences of defying my mother.
Right.
It's a choice. Because I can choose to disobey my mother and face those consequences. No matter how you look at it, it's a choice.
Right.
Yeah. And even if you get that information that you talking about, AD, if you present them with some information that might be contrary to what they was raised with,
Right.
it's still gonna come down to a choice. Now they have to choose the new information that's been inserted. So like, if I'm asking you, is this what you're saying? Like, if they met 20 nice black guys or something like that, maybe they'll have something to fight against what their racist granddaddy taught them, right? Is that what you're saying? Because if you, but and that's cool, that's what you're saying. But I'm saying at that point, they're still gonna have to make a choice to say, now that I've seen 20 black guys that contradict what my granddaddy told me, I will choose to act this way. It's still gonna come down to a choice, though.
I feel you. So Lisa says this is who they are by choice, and you do what you do because you are who you are.
Yes.
But
And you are who you are by choice.
That sounds too definite for him, though. I think he ain't feeling that.
okay, let's do it this way, right? When new information appears, right?
Yeah.
And you realize we need to do better. Like, there's always a better mindset that sits on you for the most part. You know, sometimes we sit and we're complacent regardless of how better things need to be, right? You know, in the face of information and availability of seeing the world, like you can, you know, literally see the world at your fingertips. You can see any place in the country right now. You know, I'm sure there's a live shot of Haiti somewhere that somebody has a camera like, yeah, I'm chilling up in, you know, whatever block with my people, you know, like you can see the world literally.
Yeah.
I'm always of the mindset that we can like change at least a majority of folks that can change the way, you know, that we're perceived and life that happens. There's always going to be, of course, someone that's going to hold on to old relics of thought. There's always going to be people that hold on. But I tried, you know, like to live in a, I guess my fairy tale optimistic land that, you know, with the next generations that things will change. Like anybody for me, like 60 and up, that's holding on to racist attitudes or mindsets, they're probably not going to change. You know, they're going to hold on to it in some way, shape or form or fashion, no matter how many black great black people they get a chance to meet. You know, if they got hit in the head by some random black dude 30 years ago, you know, like that's their foundational point of argument forever. Like they're never gonna let it go. And
Bro,
go ahead.
I think what you're saying is right, but it's all about perspective.
Right.
I do believe that people in general want to see things better.
Right.
But what if their definition of better is different than yours?
Right.
There's some people, a group of them, that say America was better back then, so let's make it great again. So they want better, but their idea of better is very opposite of your idea of better. And they see the next generation, they hope for the same thing. They're to preserve their way. So you hope that things will get better for blacks. And when I ain't gonna say not all of them, but some of them see it as oppressing black people. They see it like, well, when we were in charge and when we dominated, things were this way, and we took care of the blacks all right. They should be happy with that. So for them, that's better. And they're just like you're fighting for change. They're fighting to. I wouldn't even. They wouldn't say revert. I don't know the right word, but they don't necessarily see it as going back. They see it as holding the line. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a standard. Let's get back to how church was back in the day. Let's get back to how. See, I'm gonna tell you back. My granddad at this time, blah blah blah. Right.
All right.
But for them, even though it's skewed, I'm telling you, they what you're saying is right. But that's just that different definition. They want that because they think that is better. Just like you want different.
Do you think? Okay, so I'm a light a fire here. So, do you think? So we here to make America great again, right? For us, we more forward progress, and there may be like a small number of us that lived a time where, you know, they might have lived in a small town that was mixed and like they had the factories and life was grand. I wish I can go back to that. Do you think also there are those that don't look like us that feel like that have lived better lives before? It has nothing to do about oppressing us. It's just with the factories were here, you know, gas prices were better and life just seemed so simple, and it just, you know, we paid taxes, things worked, and, you know, it just was better. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, like you said in the beginning, it's about perspective. You know, like the first time, it's almost, we hear it, we got kind of triggered, like, what you mean better again? You know, like it ain't, you know, like I tell me, I was like, for me, better maybe the 90s. like before that, it's like, you know, better wasn't really better. But for others, they seen America that just either prospered for them, and, you know, like I said, we had the factories, or life was like structured enough that it was simple, that I understood it. It just, you did this, and this was the outcome. You know, the prices of houses were better. You know, like things like that. You know, but not from they may not see it from a racial standpoint. Just like, you know, we are triggered by hearing it. They were triggered in the sense like, euphoria, utopia. You know, I remember being in my house in the country where things just worked better. And it has nothing to do about oppressing someone. It just has everything to do about we prospered more. You know, my family did better back then before Clinton came in. You know, because, you know.
Yeah, but I think you're missing the fact that, you know, you think about how this nation was founded.
I get it.
Right? Mm-hmm. People who feel like that are basically saying my entire existence is based on ignorance. And my utopia is based on a closed mindset. Mm-hmm. So really, I'm validating my ignorance.
How would they say it? Because they wouldn't say it that way. I agree.
No,
they
wouldn't.
say it?
But what they would say is, I like how things were.
Right.
Make America great again. That term is a validation of my ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because when was it great? Yeah. How do you define great? Because for you to live in your utopia means I don't have the same opportunity.
Right. There's not enough American pie to go around.
I just want it to be us. How? The nation was built on the back of my ancestors.
Pastor McCord, I ask you this.
We built your utopia.
Are you saying any of that rhetoric for any race is divisive, or like what would you say?
It's absolutely divisive because
what would you say to blacks that say they want to return to the unity we had in the community in the 60s? Would that be
no, see, so when you say I want unity amongst my people,
Right.
You're not saying I don't want anybody else around.
But I'm saying
You're saying I want us to get along better.
But does the back in the day part throw you off? Anytime it's brought up in that framework, like back in the day in the 60s when we were unified, like I'm saying, like does the back in the day stuff throw you off?
Right. That right there. Sam says, but what if it was actually great for me? I don't live in the whole world, and I live in my space and community.
Yeah, but again, that's a state of mind.
Just like
right?
Fawcett County.
What I'm saying is, listen, I can't condemn you for your state of mind, but I can still call it ignorant. Because if your whole world revolves around your street, then you're lacking information. You're limited. Your life is limited. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But that doesn't make it any less ignorant.
I got you. Okay, so let me throw this out there. I don't know if you guys seen, there was a pamphlet that was, now, based on what Home Depot said, it wasn't released. They were checking it out. It wasn't like an official pamphlet. It didn't go store-wide. Did you know about it, right? You heard about it?
But if it's out, I'm just saying, if it's out, it's out.
It was a training pamphlet that talked about privilege, like how to recognize privilege. And it was pretty, and honestly, like I got to find them. I'm released to you guys, let you guys look at it. If you could look it up online, but it talked about privilege. Now, it was good because it didn't just talk about white privilege or what did they call it? Racial privilege. You know, it talked about male privilege. It talked about able-bodied privilege, you know, and being conscious of how you make statements, you know, and I'm sure it's probably one of those management things like, hey guys, let's prevent a lawsuit. This is how you guys need to talk about certain things. You know, like, you know, if you read it, you kind of like, it's pretty deep and you just like, it's interesting. You know, it just talked about the privileges of those that are, I guess, in essence, higher up on the hierarchy of society, right? You know, because you got racial, you got abilities, you know, those that can't, because they may need a wheelchair or they need more space and things of that nature. Then you got the gender privilege, you know, male and female kind of thing. And it was just interesting. And because you talk about the ignorant mindset, and just being aware of what privilege is. You understand what I'm saying? And we know, we feel at least, you know, we have gotten slighted in some form or fashion, you know, over the course of history. You know, sometimes you can't prove it, but you feel like if I was, you know, I don't think I would have got treated that way. Or you see situations like if they were, you know, they wouldn't have got treated that way. And it just opened my mind to think about, like you're saying, Pastor, is it always ignorance? Do you really not know? Or just the way you've grown up, this has just been a normalcy.
No escaping choice.
Until you get around mixed company or you get around those that, you know, like if you grow up a certain way and you hear the jokes about folks and you don't really consider it hurtful until your company grows. Like, and then like if I was white hanging around black people and I start thinking about some of the jokes, I'm like, oh man. That's
don't be offended by ignorance though. Like the word
in 2002.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, man.
No, I apologize. Finish your point, man.
No, I'm just saying the word of ignorance is just sometimes in our community is offensive, but
right.
You just look at the definition, it's not bad.
Not knowing.
It's just not knowing. But we always say you just ignorant, you know. So we make it an offense, but it's not it's not a horrible thing to be
Right.
ignorant.
We look at the word ignorant as offensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
I was going to say in 2002, I was working for a telecommunications company, and I was having a conversation with a guy who had become kind of a good work friend of mine. He was from Chicago, and we were having this conversation, and the conversation turned to race, and he's a white guy, and I'm a black man, and he was like, yeah, I owned a property on the east side of Chicago, and we had some colored people that
What year is this?
This is 2002.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm like, colored people? He goes, yeah, African Americans that had moved in. And I'm like, I said, man, it's 2002. Y'all still say colored?
Right.
He was like, well, what's wrong with it? I'm like, so I said, table that. Finish the story. So he finished the story. I went home, and the next day I brought a box of crayons to work. And I grabbed a little, page out of a coloring book. And I brought it to work, and I said, hey, come here, man. And I started coloring. I said, you see, well, I showed him the blank, the paper without coloring it in. I said, you see this? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, go. So I took out some crayons. I started, because what are you doing, man? I said, hold on. Start coloring it in. When I got finished, I said, you like that picture? He goes, yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I'm like, that's colored.
Yeah. You so petty though. I wish I could have been there when he told his wife about that. Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was married to someone who was first generation into America
Okay.
from Poland.
Okay.
So I said, if you're gonna be my friend,
Right.
you can't call black folks colored.
You educate them.
Yeah.
So
Now,
they can be ignorant.
yeah, we worked together for like 4 years.
Right.
He visited my church. He gave his life to Christ at my church.
Right.
He ended up being the one white guy on the deacon board
Right.
at my church in Sacramento when I left Sacramento. There are pictures
Right.
on the wall of my church in Sacramento of the deacons board, the men's department. And I see his face, and every time I see it, I laugh because I keep thinking about he went from calling us colored to joining the church and giving his life to Christ and serving in a Church of God in Christ in Sacramento. So it was a choice, and he was ignorant, and he got educated.
Yeah.
And it changed his perspective. Now, I'm not saying that he was racist. I'm just saying that he was lacking information.
Right. And when he got that information, he chose to
He
now
chose
with his
to
information.
change, to shift his mindset.
Yeah. But
And
the
he
AD
drew
point, that's what he was
closer.
raised up with.
He drew closer because somebody took the time. Because I'm like, this dude was in his 30s.
Yeah.
And nobody had ever said anything to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's AD
So
point.
that-
Like
but-
he was
but
around the
that's what
circle.
I'm-
Yeah.
The,
No.
the
That's
shift, the change. Well, so two things.
Or he heard it and didn't change until he met me.
Yeah, but so two things. One, new information came in, and he realized, oh, I need to just change my language. And two, his attitude wasn't necessarily racist. He just
It was ignorant.
He didn't understand what was offensive.
Ignorant.
yeah.
Lacking knowledge.
Okay, but so that goes to the point that folks can change.
Yeah. Anybody
Yeah.
can change. But I'm saying, I mean, anybody can
But
change.
they
It's
changed
still
by
a
choice.
Yeah.
But my point, and also he wasn't necessarily racist. He wasn't racist.
I don't know what he
just-
was.
but
All
what
I know
I'm-
is what he said.
I know, but he wasn't racist. You know that now because
No,
his
listen-
language
listen
is
to-
just like,
listen
oh,
to
I
what
didn't
I'm saying.
realize I was offensive. I
Here's
don't
what I'm
like
saying.
dislike colored folk. You know,
But here's my point. I don't know how he felt about people who look like me. All I know is what he said.
I got you.
So I can't tell you whether or not he was racist. What I can tell you is that he was open for dialogue. and the dialogue shifted his mindset, and he drew closer as a result of the dialogue. Right? Remember that in this life, in the spiritual walk, you are the living epistle. You are God's written word in the earth for other people to see. So when people see your life and hear your testimony, they overcome. Right? So what I was, I am no longer because of Christ. If he was racist, and I have no idea, I don't know. We didn't have a conversation about how you feel about black people. We had a conversation about how you described or defined or how you labeled someone who didn't look like you.
Yeah, but he was already open to a connection. People can only change if they realize they need to change and want to. And sometimes I didn't realize me saying colored was a bad thing because I've been saying it around other folks. He said you saved him from the wrong person taking it wrong. Right. And but it's just linguistics. It wasn't because honestly, like, and I know let's set this fire too. I don't feel like there's as many racist people as we always label. They just speak in old world thinking that just makes it seem like they're racist. Like I got no problem with colored folk. Like you sound like you racist, but does it really make you racist?
It doesn't, but I mean, I don't know if that excuses you though. Ignorance doesn't excuse you. Like if I break a law that I didn't know was a law, am I
get it.
Going to jail?
I get it, but we've changed some of our ways as well as far as how we speak. Like think about how women were treated in the workplace, like 80s and 90s and before, where we realized, oh, that's offensive to talk about. Ooh,
but
girl.
I'm saying in those early days,
I'm just saying like things have shifted. What was fine, we realized, oh, that's been offensive.
Yeah, but I'm saying when I did it, I still was offensive.
Yeah.
I just was ignorant of it though.
I got it. But does it make me hate or dislike a particular race because I was offensive? We used to make Asian jokes all the time about the eyes and things like that. Does it mean we disliked them? No, we just was clowning. But we didn't realize we were being offensive. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
I do.
I hear your words. I just don't know where you're trying to land. So what are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is this country mindset can shift more. It's just we can't get so
you don't
caught
think
up.
people
and
have
it's,
information.
and I say we and I listen, I'm not saying this thing is easy because someone say colored, you got like don't get triggered. Have a conversation. Can we keep it real? Like sometimes you want to have thoughtful conversations, but people throw trigger words, and now I'm up here. When if I could just stay cool, we could have a real thoughtful conversation. Let me tell you real quick. I was in a car with and just for clarity, like I drive Lyft, and anybody in my car, I let them spout all of their knowledge and ignorance and whatever craziness, thought, conspiracy, and I just like, oh, that's interesting. Like, cause I want to hear all of it. I only got either usually from 12 to maybe 30 minutes, and unless like the conversation is like comes out with what do you think, where I might have an opportunity to change a mindset, I usually just want to hear it. I just want to hear it all, and I just feed into it. So I had a white guy in my car, and he talked, and we went from politics to slavery, and I was just, and he talked about, where the slaves started. He said, in Africa they gave up some of the slaves, and I'm like, you're right, that might be true, but later they came back and they stole some, because they needed more, but then he was like, and then when they were here, not all of them got mistreated, and I was like, I feel you, but they were still slaves. Like they were in, but I let them, I was like, I'm not going to get triggered because I want to hear it all. I want to hear the mindset. And this is just one guy, but I know a lot of people think like this. And I just wanted to hear it all. And what I didn't get to ask him, I wanted to ask him how he felt about reparations.
What do you say? What do you say, bro?
Like I wanted, I was like,
Trigger,
yo,
you see that trigger? You see that trigger? Look, you see that trigger? You see that? What do you say? What do you say?
Right. And I I was like, if I'm gonna get out of this conversation, I meant it when he got. I was like, oh, I didn't get the chance to ask him. You know, like there's a comment.
That's my thing. Mama said,
Look at mom's comment.
so Mama, listen, this is what I'm saying. AD, this is my own thing. I'm not
I
mad
love
at that
AD's.
perspective. I'm not mad at the perspective.
Why does it have to be fairy tale?
Because, bro,
Mama Corey?
listen, bro.
Why
Like,
is
if you don't have, this is what I'm saying. This is what it sounds like to me. What you're saying is not wrong, but it sounds like you saying the majority of people that do racist things are ignorant of their racism. There's a clip I want you to watch on the Breakfast Club. They talking to Snoop Dogg this year sometime,
Okay.
and the female, I forget her name, excuse me, but she asked him, with the women's empowerment movement and all this stuff, do you ever look back on your old records and feel, bad about what you said? And Snoop says, forget them garden tools. I ain't studying none of that. What is Snoop saying? I'm fully aware
That was good.
of what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm fully aware of what I'm saying.
Right.
And the more I hear about Me Too, the more I hear about women empowerment, I'm going to knuckle down even more on what I said back then. He's choosing what? He's choosing to stay with what he had. So it just sounds like some of what you're saying, like you're excusing that these people, all of them aren't completely unaware. Pastor McCoy's case, that guy was kind of unaware of that situation. He presented it to him, and just like he changed, he could have been like, I hear everything you're saying, but that's what we call him.
Oh, so
And plenty of people do that.
Right. Rollins says there are levels of racism. Do you feel a certain walk when you see
Certain way.
Right. When you see black people with pants sagging walking up to you, do you think about locking your door? Do you become more alert? Just a question. I feel like anybody walking around with skinny jeans sagging is
ridiculous.
retarded. So
Yeah. Why?
something
They're
wrong.
already skinny. Why would you sag them? I don't
So
get
you
it.
don't like them because of their appearance.
do I? No, I don't.
No,
I mean, do I not
I
like them? I just think I don't know what you're
I
doing.
lock my
I
door
don't
because
dislike
they're
them. I have no reason, nothing against them. I just
What
wonder.
did you just call them?
I call them retarded.
Sound like something.
That don't mean I dislike them. See, and that let's have that conversation. Don't mean I don't like them. I just think
just
something
retarded.
wrong with you.
So what do you feel about mental retardation?
Get out of that bucket.
See, I'm going for the bait. So what I feel about mental retardation is that something went wrong in your life that you can't function properly, and that
Mental
person is just like the
retardation
person
is
sagging the
mental
pants.
retardation is a birth thing. It's a birth defect. It's
Right,
something that
indeed.
can't be controlled. So what are
Indeed.
you talking about?
Then they must have that same birth defect that they sagging the pants with skinny jeans. That's my correlation.
So what you're really saying is you're ignorant.
I may be. But honestly, like I know and see as African Americans, we sit on the side where we feel like this looming thing of racism will kind of like always exist. And yes, I feel like there's always will be a pocket of people. There will always be folks that may have these racist thoughts or things of that nature.
Yes.
But I believe and I'm hopeful that there will be more change. You know, there will be more open and I think it's just having conversation and with the way sounding like that man, but the way the media, you know, always having us infighting on both sides. Like I feel like they feed off of us being triggered and us choosing based on being triggered. You know. And I like I said and the man picked let's make America great again. He picked that trigger to get a certain flock of votes from a particular portion of America.
75 million of them.
You know, and just like Obama went for hope and change because he picked to get a certain flock of America because you knew that's what we've been looking for. Hope and change. Let's go. You know, like
Yeah, but
so-
is it former President Barack Obama's hope, or is it Seth the Entertainer's hope? There's two versions of hope,
I got you.
right? And depending on the set you come from, you hope for improvement, or you hope somebody would.
I just
Now,
wish.
I'm going back to my mom's statement, the fairy tale. Here's what you have to realize.
Yeah.
There is a mindset of people who experienced some of this.
Yes.
Like my mom was born in the 40s, right? So when I talk about something that happened in 1963,
Yeah.
she's
So
very
she's
conscious of what was happening because she lived through those times, and she was of age during that season.
Indeed.
Okay, and so their memory, their experience puts them in a different mindset
Right.
than the experience of somebody who the worst thing you ever experienced is somebody using the N-word.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so that triggers something in me. Why would she refer to your mindset as a fairy tale mindset?
Right.
Because
Right.
she
Right.
comes from a different space.
Because she come from a different space and time,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And she knew what was then,
Right.
and she sees what's going on now.
Yeah.
And in her mindset, there's not a whole lot of difference between what she sees now and what was going on then,
I'm a
because there's levels to this.
I'm gonna challenge that. I'm challenging that. I feel like because of what she dealt with then, it can be like a PTSD, meaning any little bit can trigger what it was back then.
Are you
Doesn't
saying?
mean it's as widespread now. Do you understand what I'm
Great,
saying?
a great point. Great point. Now let's unpack that.
Let's unpack it. Let's go. In 3 minutes.
Define PTSD.
Right. Like
Post-traumatic syndrome.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, and I'm not, and just for clarity, I'm not saying Mama Corey is suffering from
Don't talk about
post-traumatic
Mama.
stress
Don't
disorder.
do it.
No disrespect to my.
Don't do it.
I'm making it clear.
Don't do it.
But just as an example, like when you have dealt with something so long in the past that just seems like a normalcy, it's hard to imagine anything different if you see something that can trigger old thoughts. This is Anthony's
Good
focus
definition.
and definition of PTSD,
That was a
based
good one.
on what I've seen previous and read.
So let me read this.
Okay, go ahead, break it down.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Indeed.
One definition.
Yep.
A disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. The condition may last months or years with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reaction.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I said to you this morning, as we opened up, that I was angered
Yes.
by some of the things that I was reading.
Yes.
So when did I experience it where you could say I'm suffering from it? Because I never went through getting hosed or having dogs put on me. I never saw that live,
Right.
but I'm still angered by what I see and read about what went on back then. So I'm not getting triggered because of something I went through back then. I just don't like what I see. All right. Now, when you talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, that is, I went through it, I had not recovered from it, and every time I see it, it takes me back there.
Right.
That's not what you got from my mom. What you got from her is we're always going to have to deal with some level of this. And to think that we're not is a fairy tale.
So I will say no. I won't say there will never be never of nothing. There's always going to be a level of something, right?
Okay.
There's always going to be a level until Christ cracks the sky and we get caught up.
Okay.
That's the only heaven we going to. So I just feel like it won't be as looming. I feel like if we can change the conversation, things won't be as looming the climb won't be as long, and then we won't have ignorant behind questions being asked to one of the smartest women in the country
I feel you.
being confirmed. You know, like I feel that will
Bro,
change.
I feel what you're saying. The media does gaslight some stuff,
Yeah, all the
but
time.
no doubt, and they do. It's very heavy, and I agree with you on that. But I think that you're not giving credit to the fact there's a lot of Snoop Dogs out there, people that are full aware of what they said and what they've done, and just will dig their heels in. But I feel you though. But people do hype it up. But there are some people that are like, nah, I know what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm
I
good.
mean, so
Yes, look, Lisa, Emmett Till. I was going to talk about Emmett Till. You know that they decided to not pursue charges in the Emmett Till case, even though the lady lied. She admitted that she lied. They did not pursue any charges. I know it's been forever ago, but
Still.
yeah, but it's
right.
I mean,
And then you look at
Emmett Till
Trayvon
was
Martin.
murdered.
Right.
Emmett Till, it was a horrible tragedy. Trayvon Martin,
Be
horrible
careful, be
tragedy.
careful, be careful, be careful.
It is.
Hey, Jesus
county.
just stepped in and we ran out of wine and he just tapped the pitcher. And he wanted to keep the party going. Our hour is up. Y'all trying to keep the party going?
Because if you say something about Trayvon,
Listen, we're gonna table this. I'm gonna start part 2 on this. So y'all need to share, let everybody know. But we're gonna table this, we're gonna keep it moving. But y'all need to share. Tomorrow we can dig into this more.
All right.
And I'm gonna go ahead gaslight a nice title.
So tomorrow
y'all
what
be
you have to
watching
do
out
is
for.
play the last 5 minutes of today.
this,
and then
yeah,
we jump
yeah.
in.
'Cause I want to hear what you about to say about Trayvon and Emmett.
Right,
I just
right.
got to know.
Right.
Hey,
So-
Mama Corey, real quick. I know we gotta go. I'm infatuated with the '60s. I want to know how it was when King died in '65 and what it was like with JFK. If you could recant them days for me whenever me and you meet, I would greatly appreciate that. Just kind of looking for overall reactions. What was on
Right,
TV?
like real.
My,
Like,
mom,
what
my
happened?
mom was in Memphis.
Wow.
When he oh, for real? Oh, Mom, you got to call in.
King was, when did he die? 68.
68. April 4th, 68.
All right.
My mother was living in Memphis.
That's
Nice.
crazy. I just went out there on the 4th. Jesse, y'all pray for Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's
Yeah.
struggling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Definitely. All right, guys. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow as we talk
Be on
about
time tomorrow, Mom.
how to fix the monsters. How are we going to fix the monsters in the U.S.? All right. So we look forward to seeing you same time, same place. Know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and know, hey, talk to someone that doesn't look like you and have a thoughtful conversation. That's my challenge. Indeed. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Shout out to all the colored people.
As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys.